I'm part of the whole Tai team. I'm the one that's putting out the daily affirmations on Twitter, so I hope you've been liking them so far. So today we're going to be talking about different types of therapy. I've been going to talk therapy for about 2 months now, and that was because for a couple months before then I was feeling really down, really depressed, really wasn't feeling myself. So my mom suggested to go to CAMH in Toronto, and they found the best option for me was talk therapy. So I went, and it's been really helpful, really great.
First time it was a little awkward because I am a huge skeptic, or was a huge skeptic. I didn't really understand the purpose of going to someone I never met and paying them to listen to me talk. I didn't understand how that would help me at all.
I think that's the biggest thing for me as well. Like the first time going and even hearing them say, oh, you're going to be going to this talk therapy. You're very skeptical because you hear the stereotypes and you hear kind of what people have to say about it. They think you're sitting there and they're just asking you, so how does that make you feel? And how does that make you feel? Yeah. So a lot of people think it's kind of pointless. And then you also have the stereotype, like my mom, for example, when I was going, she said, oh, so have they helped you find yourself? There's a lot of misunderstanding about what goes on in a therapy session.
Yeah. My first time going, I was nervous and also still a skeptic, and I didn't really know what to expect. So our first session was basically me just talking about really anything and getting comfortable in the situation that I was in.
I think it's tough because you go in there and you know that you're expected to divulge these like really repressed, deep parts of yourself. So it's hard to be able to express it, and it's hard to be able to trust this person with these feelings and these thoughts that are really make you feel unsettled and uneasy.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like you have to learn to trust this person because they are there to help you and they have your best intentions and interests.
Definitely. That's one thing I learned for sure is they're there for you. They're there to listen to you and really help you sort through all these problems you might have, or just the thoughts that you can't seem to vocalize properly.
Yeah, a lot of stuff for me, for example, a lot of thoughts I didn't know how to even approach, or I didn't even know that they were there. They were so confusing for me, and my talk therapy sessions, they really helped me sort through everything, and they really helped me understand how to look at it, how to approach it, what exactly is going on within myself that I wasn't able to express before.
Before I started, I kind of had this idea about therapists that like they're only in it for the money, 1 hour sessions, and then they don't care about you for the rest of the time. It's just like 1 hour is strictly for you kind of thing. My therapist emails me about a bunch of things. During the session, she'll be like, oh, I was thinking about you and I brought you some like news clippings that you might like and stuff. She's great. I mean, she really like takes time. She really she really cares, So I really appreciated that. She definitely helped me sort through everything. That was the biggest part. Just because I tend to overthink everything.
Exactly.
So, she helped me kind of sort through those thoughts. That was really good.
And my biggest thing when I was feeling depressed was I just had these thoughts and I would turn them over and over and over and over and then over again in my mind, and it got really overwhelming.
Yeah.
And for me, like I felt like I couldn't share them with anyone because I didn't feel they were validated. So going into the talk therapy, like she was ready to listen, was ready to help me sort through my thoughts, and she gave me that kind of validation that these feelings are real and these feelings are something we have to deal with.
Right.
And she was the one that helped me express the way I felt and also helped me figure out what it all meant.
Right. For me, it was more, she focused more on cognitive behavioral therapy. So it was more just trying to get me to think of things differently because I tend to put myself down a lot. So I'll see things very negatively when it comes to myself, and she tried to make me kind of like put a better spin on it. So that's something we're working on right now. One of the biggest fears for me was finding out something that I didn't know about myself. So what if she found something out that, I don't know, like scared me.
You didn't want to come to terms with.
Yeah. So I was terrified about that. It kind of happened a little bit in one of the sessions where she basically pointed out something about myself that I do all the time and I didn't realize I did. So that I'm not going to get into it, but that was a huge adjustment for me. I was upset about it for at least 2 weeks after it. Yeah. I'm okay now, dealing with it.
I think it was, very much the same. There's the fear of what you're going to find out and what you're going to come to terms with.
Yeah.
For me, it was very much the same, and not so much a fear, but also there's a process of disappointment, because when you come to terms with certain facets of yourself or certain dimensions that you've never considered, you tend to get disappointed and just think, even the realization of just being like, wow, this is how it is, and I have to get used to it, and I have to learn to manage it. So there is kind of like the fear and the disappointment that comes hand in hand, but in the end it's all for the better, because you gain a better understanding of what's going on, and you gain strategies to manage these thoughts and these feelings.
For sure. Every time I would leave a session, someone would ask me how it went, and I would just be like, well, I'm emotionally drained, but I feel like we got somewhere. So there was a little progress made every time.
It gives you a lot to think about after you finish the session. Like for me, I go to ChemH, so I have kind of like a subway ride home to kind of digest and kind of come to terms with what I had talked about for the day. And even during the week between sessions, I kind of keep thinking about what I had gone over and just different ways to approach it, different ways to look at it. And that might just be me, like, overthinking. But it's more productive thinking, because you know how to approach it, and you know how to perceive it, if that makes sense.
Because you kind of sorted through it already with someone, which is great. Having someone to like sort through those things out with you is awesome.
That's the thing too. A lot of the times what you're discussing during a talk therapy session, for me for example, it's things that you had repressed, things that you kind of knew but didn't know how to express. So just bouncing them off of another person and having them kind of tell it back to you, just using different terms, really helps you to understand what's going on.
I definitely think now that I've been able to talk to my therapist about certain things, I've noticed that I'm more comfortable talking about it in general too, just because I can express it better. So that feels really good.
And that's the thing too. I think being able to express it is what maybe I take the most out of these talk therapy sessions, is being able to understand these feelings that were kind of confusing or were kind of uncertain, unknown, that I couldn't put a label on. So now it's being able to say to myself, okay, I feel like this because of this, and I'm going to deal with it this way. So now, after having gone to like a fair amount of sessions, I can definitely say that I feel more confident with myself, and I have a better understanding of what's going on. My mood has improved a lot, and I'm definitely at a really happy point. Like, I feel like I found my stride, and everything's been good.
Good. I think I don't go as often as I used to. I started by going maybe every other week, and now I go once a month. It's good. I don't feel the need to go as much. But I did notice that I just feel more comfortable with myself. So
comfort is definitely a thing.
Comfort is huge.
Because when you're feeling depressed, when you're in that dark place, you feel unsettled. And to be able to find yourself the way that you were when you were happy, for example, or when you were at a point that you were comfortable, it's definitely what I take out the most of it.
Yeah, and just validation for certain things, for being who you are and stuff. I took a lot away from that, so Not a skeptic anymore.
Definitely not.
I was a huge skeptic.
And I even I know some people who have anxiety, for example, and I recommend it to them. I recommend it to anyone. If you have any unsettling feelings within yourself or something that you feel you need to talk about but you don't know who to turn to, talk therapy is sometimes the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
If you have something going on, just consider the option. That's what I would say. Consider it because it's out there and it is super, super helpful. No reason to be skeptical or to believe the stereotypes, as with everything.
Yeah. We learn from our mistakes.
Yes.
Hopefully we can help you guys. There's also different therapies, so look into that.
If you're not comfortable talking, there's other ways to approach it as well.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we have to say about therapy. Talk therapy anyway. There will be more videos about different kinds of therapy, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Please go check out the website holdtheadhigh.org. Get involved. Hope to hear from you guys soon. Thanks, guys.